Hello, it's AM Dreaming Stitcher. When I did my last monthly floss tube update, I said that I might create a video showing you how to sort floss. Well, not you, most floss tube viewers, I guess, probably know how to do this already, but for folks who struggle to sort bundles of floss like this, I thought maybe I would post a video when I was ready to begin my new project so that you could see how it's done. My camera view to me is really strange today, but I just did a little test snippet of about 30 seconds and it seemed to play back alright, so we'll see how this turns out. I can only do it once, because once it's sorted, it's sorted. The project that I'm going to be sorting the floss for is this Bernat Carousel lion that I purchased off of eBay recently. See if you can maybe see the picture of him there. He's a nice, colorful fellow. It's a kit from the 1980s, but it was very common then and still not uncommon now for floss to come in bundles like this. And so the question becomes, what do you do with those when you're ready to begin your project? I'm hoping that the filming here is going better than the viewfinder, because the viewfinder is really jumpy and awful. Alright, so what do? Well, you begin, of course, with your key that comes with the pattern and the chart. I'm going to try not to crinkle too much, but I really don't want to mangle my pattern, but I've tried to fold it so that you won't see anything that you shouldn't be seeing. So on this particular chart, the color key comes in two parts. You can see perhaps there that the top part lists some of the colors, and then the bottom part lists more. So to begin, and I have two bundles, so no surprise there, the two keys refer to the two bundles, and each key gives a number that probably corresponds to the DMC number. In this case, they look familiar. It gives a name for the color so that you can kind of tell generally what color you're looking for, like the difference between a medium brown and light brown, and it gives you the number of yards that are provided of each. So for example, this 433 medium brown, I should have 7 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and set this key aside and show you how the sorting progresses. In the first color key bundle, it has medium brown, light tan, and so on. And you can see, for example, that this bundle doesn't have those colors. It has maybe a very light color. There is a color called for in this kit called light taupe. That's probably what that one is. But it's mostly blues, and the first bundle list has only a dark blue listed. A dark blue, a maroon, a bright yellow. So clearly the bundle I would be dealing with for the first color key is the one in which I see a dark blue, a bright yellow. Okay, so that tells me what I'm looking for. It's really not hard at all to sort these. It says that I should have 7 yards of medium brown and 8 yards of light brown, 11 light tan, and so on. So I look for a color that's pretty obvious. I'm going to undo the bundle. And I do hope this records nicely because, like I said, you can only do this once, then your opportunity is gone. And in this bundle, for example, I'm going to set the other one aside. I don't want to end up with a tangle as I work, so I'm going to be very careful here. Unknot it, lay them out. I think I'll start with something like the bright yellow. I just grab whatever color catches my eye, and I see 1, 2, 3 strands in here that appear to be bright yellow, and I pull them out from the rest. And then I check my key, and it says that I'm supposed to have 3 yards of bright yellow. So I'm off to a good start. I'm going to set that down. It says, let me see what else I've got going on here. I see the bright blue. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the bright blue. 1, 2, 3 yards of bright blue that I see. Separate those out. Again, try not to get them too tangled or messy. Lay them down. And it tells me, yes, I should have 3 of dark blue. And I continue that way for a while with each color that I see that's really obvious, and then I'll end up with the ones that are a little tougher, things like the browns that look so much alike. They'll be the last ones to get separated, but since I'll have every other color out of the way, it should make it a lot easier to see what I'm doing. By the way, I have a cold right now that I've had for a while, so this may pause abruptly if I feel a sneeze or a cough coming on, because you probably don't want to hear those sneezes and coughs. Alright, I've got 4 strands here of something that looks like what they call maroon. Bright yellow, dark blue, maroon comes right before bright yellow. I try to, for my own sake, kind of keep these in the order that they're listed. So maroon, bright yellow, and dark blue I'll leave next to each other because they're listed in that order. This is not going to be the most exciting of videos. You're going to catch on pretty quickly how it works. 1, 2, a lot of greens. Lots and lots of greens. Dark greens. Don't know if they call it that. They call it, they have medium green and light green, so these must be medium green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, indeed, there's supposed to be 8. And they come well before the maroon. I'll come back to that. Probably the most interesting part of this will be when I get down to the browns, because those would be the trickiest ones for anyone to sort. The light green. Well, there's another one that slipped out of the rest. Light green. I do hope this is filming. My screen is like just all jumpy and terrible. Okay, light green comes after the medium green before maroon. I may only do one of these bundles for you because you probably don't need to see me do the other. There's one of black, which comes between the light green and the maroon. Pausing you for a moment because I feel one of those coughs coming on, and I know you don't want to hear that, so hang on. Sorry about that, but you really didn't want to have to hear me clearing my throat. Okay, now we're getting down to these browns here. Wait a minute, I forgot to count one of the greens. There were supposed to be 4 light greens, and I had 3, so I should have known that I still had this fellow hiding in there. Again, it's really easy just using the key. The key tells you everything you need to know. The color and all of that. It only gets tricky when they start to look a bit alike. And what do you do, for example, if you have, say, 4 strands each of 2 colors that sound a lot alike in their names? Then you start looking at your model. This is why they have photographs, usually, of what the finished product is going to look like, so that you don't have an issue with trying to tell one color from another. You know, I'm getting kind of messy here with my browns. So I'm supposed to have 5 strands of something called dark brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dark browns. Comes after the dark blue. Look how nicely they're sorting. Well, I don't know if you can actually see them. They're kind of close to you up there. Alright, getting down there now. It looks like I have about 4 colors left here. I have kind of a darker, but not as dark as the dark brown. That's probably the one they call medium. No, I wouldn't say so. You have the dark brown, the dark blue, the bright yellow, the maroon, the black, the light green, the medium green. We do have 4 colors left. Very light tan, light brown, and medium brown. So medium brown there's supposed to be a whole lot of. And because it's not tan and it's not light, I'm going to go for the darkest looking thing I have, which would be this brown right here. I think that looks like the darkest bit I've got left. So I'm going to pull all of those. So far that's 5. And there's supposed to be more than 5. Oh, you got in there. You're not one of them. And I'm only seeing 5. So the question becomes, there's another one that got hidden away. Makes 6. It's partly because my bundle's a bit of a mess now. And there is one more. 7. This is really nice floss, by the way. I don't know if you could do this easily with some other kits where they're, I'm sorry, crappy floss. Pardon my French. But there's my medium brown. Now what? We've got all these light looking things and I've got a real tangle going on here because I've made myself a mess. But there's only 3 colors left and I can still see the 3 colors. I've got this kind of a golden brown, very pale one. There's more of the golden one. Very, very pale. And one that's darker than the other 2. That's a couple of the golden ones. This really isn't hard, folks. If you can cross stitch, you can see colors. There's 3 colors right there. Now I'm still going to have to deal with that mess. But let's see what we got going on. So how do I decide which one's light brown, light tan, and very light tan? This is where the quantities start to come in, and if necessary, matching to the key. I would say that one's got to be the light tan because it's the lightest thing I've got. So, I'm sorry, the very light tan. And light tan there's supposed to be a lot of, and light brown not quite as many. I'm thinking that's the light brown. And these are 2 or tan, light tan, very light tan. So let's start counting and see what we get. I've got 7 of those so far, and 2 of these, and 1 of those. So let me deal with the rest of my tangle. These are going to go in the pile with my golden looking ones. We'll go ahead and start calling them the light tan. And I'm looking for 11 light tans. So far I had 7. That makes 9. These are the ones that I'm thinking are the light brown. I'm looking for 8 of those eventually. If you hate tangles, I'm sorry, because you're going to see quite a tangled mess here. I'm sure I could have done that better, but like I said, you only get one shot at this. So there were 2 already. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my 8 light browns. That's not making sense though, because this one looks like one more light brown. So let me count again. There's supposed to be 8 light browns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8. Okay. It's my light brown. And I have left this very pale one. By the way, I'm going for 4 very light tans. I had 2 already. That makes 3. That makes 4. I've got 2 of these guys left. I told you I was up to 9, so that makes 10 and 11. And one bundle is done. It really is not that hard, even with all these shades of brown. Your key tells you how many you want, and you can match them up to your picture. So for example, let's suppose that they had equal quantities of the medium brown and the light brown and the light tan, and I wasn't sure which was which. So you look at the symbol. The symbol for the light brown is just an X. So I look on my chart for somewhere that has an X, and it looks like it's the shadowing along the bottom of the lion's leg, for example. So I look at my picture, and I kind of look for the shadowing up on the bottom of his leg, and I can compare that value to the light tan, which is just a slash, and the light tan is definitely a lighter color because it's above here, it's above the dark edging. So I know to compare the two that one is going to have a lighter value than the other. So even had there been equal quantities and I'd been saying, how do I tell the brown apart from the tan? The tan is lighter than the brown. The tan, of which I actually have 11, not an equal quantity, is lighter than the brown. So that's where using your model comes in. So the key gives you some colored names, which are pretty vague, but it gives you quantities of yards, and that's going to help you get through these bundles. It really is not that difficult. Now, had they put them all together, that would have been a bit more of a challenge, because notice that this very light tan, and when you start looking at your very light taupe, or light taupe, in this other bundle, they are both very light. Had they bundled them together, that would have been a bit more of a challenge. It definitely would have. So that's why it helps. And most companies will do this. I've noticed, like with dimensions, now a lot of their kits have them pre-separated for you, but I have many of the older kits. They'll put them in different bundles. They'll even mark the bundles for you. I have one where they put a big, thick piece of yarn in each bundle and listed them to say, well, the bundle with the blue yarn or the green yarn or the pink yarn or whatever is this set of colors, so that you don't have to do as I did and say, well, there's dark blue and bright yellow, that's different than this bundle. You won't have to worry about that because they mark and identify the bundles for you. So I could go ahead and do this one. I'm probably going to, but I want to get these organized for myself first so that I can stitch. But you can see it's really not that tough. Had they put them together, yeah, I'd say that separating this yellow from that one would have been a little bit of a challenge. I'm guessing that's the one it's gonna be one of the gold colors. And it is an awful lot like the bright yellow. But if you have a good company, they're gonna do this for you. If you have them all bundled together, count strands, because there's more bright yellow than these golds, I can tell you that. Okay, and if you need to, compare it to your original chart. All right, I hope that worked well. If it didn't, I may have to film again with this bundle. But thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope that made it somewhat clear for any cross-stitchers who are intimidated by having to separate out their bundles of floss. It's really not that difficult. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Bye-bye.